Hey, hey, I
Perfect.
got a public image thing.
Yeah, so we're gonna hold the questions till the end until the first. We're gonna do things a little bit differently today. I just want to welcome everybody, first of all, for joining us for our virtual connection hour, which happens every fourth Monday of the month at 4:30 Central Time. This is a meeting for everyone to join us and talk all things public image. For our guests, we don't normally have an agenda for most of the meeting. It's for people to just to ask questions, share successes and challenges, and we all help each other out. But today, we have two very special guests and two great friends of ours in the Rotary world, and it's an honor to have them here. Ben and I have been talking to them for almost a year and a half now or more, trying
Yes.
to get this meeting to finally happen, and all of us have been busy, and we finally are here. So, guys, I'm really, really thankful that you're here today to talk all things public service announcements. So, I'd like to welcome Jean Saunders, who has a new title that I have to read here. She is the marketing lead and the brand experience for brand experience. So she's been involved in Rotary marketing since I've been involved in public image, and she's been a friend that I love to see when I'm anything at Rotary International. So, Jean, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to
And
be
then
here.
our friend Ben Miller, who is the marketing coordinator, but really he likes to be called Jean's right hand man. So, Ben, thank you for being here as well. You guys are a wealth of knowledge. You do so much great work in Rotary International when it comes to not only marketing, but also just spreading the impact of the great things we do in the world. So if everybody could just give them a round of applause for the hard work that they do throughout the years. Thank you so much. And the floor is yours to start talking public service announcements. So take it away.
Oh, thanks, Patrick, and hello, everyone. I think I may have met some of you over the last couple of years. I've been at Rotary, gosh, I can't even believe it, almost 11 years. It'll be 11 years on the 1st of March. And I've done pretty much this similar role. I've been working on our marketing team, developing our brand campaign and materials and resources that we work with Patrick and many others around the world to push out and make available for our clubs to use. So what we wanted to do was make sure that everybody was familiar with our current public service campaign that's actually been running since 2020, March 2020. Not a good time to start a public service announcement campaign. Just show of hands. Is there anyone who's not familiar with public service announcements? Anyone kind of wonder about what they are? I'm not seeing any shows of hands, so that's great. So, next question. Have show of hands if you've seen a Rotary public service announcement. Okay, we've got a couple hands going. Good. Nice. Nice. Great. Great. Well, in part, that's because of the work that Rotary members around the United States have done to let broadcast outlets, TV stations, radio stations know about Rotary's public service campaign. So Ben is the guy with the numbers. He's got some really impressive numbers to share. So before we get into the numbers, I wanted to do two things. One, so we've had our program for since March of 2020. We work with an agency. Our agency is called Plowshare. We've been with them since we kicked off the campaign. We pay them modest, I mean, depends on your perspective, I suppose, but modest amount. And we rely on their connections in the broadcast media world. So TV stations, radio stations, they have their database includes connections for every single media outlet in the United States. And they push out Rotary's public service announcement and make it available, make it easy for broadcasters to access it. So we'll talk a little bit more about Plowshare in a minute, but that's sort of in a nutshell how Rotary runs the PSA campaign. We work with a third party who reaches out on our behalf to make sure that our assets are available to those broadcasters. And when I say assets, I mean television ads, radio ads, and also print. Um, we haven't had a tremendous amount of pickup on the print side, but we've done a little bit there. And then over the years, we put our toe in the water on billboards. That's a different animal. But so for the most part, we're going to talk about our results in TV and radio and a little bit of print. So before we get into the numbers and some of the nitty gritty, we wanted to show you a PSA. Does anyone have any questions about Rotary's PSA program, sort of based on that high level summary I gave you? I'm not seeing a hand. So Ben, why don't we go ahead and share the PSA? Get everybody excited.
We are not a shy group, so if they don't have a question, they're not gonna.
Great.
So as I'm getting this set, one thing I do want to let you all know is not only does Plowshare push out these videos and print ads to their contacts throughout the country, they also actually host these videos on a download website for us. So it makes it nice and easy for us to share them with some of these stations. The reason I bring that up is this time for our discussion right now, I am going to share it from the brand center because it's a little bit more user-friendly for what we're doing right now. But when it is time to actually send those PSAs, the download center is where you want to be, or the Plowshare download center, I should say, is where you want to be. So now that I've gotten that out, let me share an example with you right now.
From poverty to disease, conflict to environmental issues, the world faces complex challenges. But when people unite and take action, we can make a difference. That's why Rotary remains committed to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, supporting causes that foster collaboration, peace, and prosperity for everyone, everywhere. We are people of action. We share a passion for improving communities and creating lasting change. When local communities, governments, and experts join forces to secure access to clean water, sanitation, and quality health care, diseases are prevented, children can attend school, and everyone can prosper. By creating economic opportunities, ensuring quality education, and building stability, cycles of poverty and conflict are broken, and we can safeguard our natural world for generations to come. Learn more, find your cause, and take action at Rotary.org.
All right. So I have no doubt that you recognize that as the areas of focus. That was a 60-second version. We also have 30-second versions, 15-second versions, all based on what that station's needs are. So we do provide quite I like to think of it as a robust number of videos in different formats that can be used. Sorry, Jean, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, not at all. So I was just going to share that. Where's one? Share that. Can you see my screen with the download center? So right now, Rotary has all of these campaigns, the Connecting Communities, Changing Lives campaign. That is our latest one. That was just added. The campaign that Ben just shared, Rotary Causes Address Community Needs, leaning into our areas of focus. Personal Perspectives, the Value of Rotary. This is our new campaign featuring members from around the world, our testimonial videos, and the ones we're sharing currently are 3 Americans, 2 from Seattle and 1 from Evanston. Spoiler alert, he belongs to the same club I do. Zero Dose Children, which is about 2-3 years old. The We Are Rotary, which came out, I think in 2021, when we were in Houston for the convention. Rotary Responds, obviously, and our People of Action campaign. So we'll get into more details about the download center, but I just wanted to give you a sense of the campaigns that we're currently making available. So Ben, do you want to, with that sort of in mind, do you want to take us through the numbers? And someone has a question. Is it from Plowshare? How can you access it? Well, we're going to provide everyone with a summary of what we share today, including a one-pager. And the one-pager is all of the information about how to get to Plowshare. In the meantime, just if anyone wants to check it while we're talking, I've just pasted the link in the chat. So it's not password protected. Anyone who has that link can access it.
All right, and I will share my screen to do share some numbers with you. And I did, oh, we both did share the, okay. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So as Jean mentioned, we've been running this campaign since March 2020. And in that time, we've received over $49 million worth of donated media. And what that means, I think most of you are familiar with PSAs, but just for discussion's sake, when there's space that's not been sold in some of these stations, the stations can share these PSAs for free. I'm doing air quotes if you can't see me. So while we're not paying anything, they are worth money as though it was advertised, paid for advertisement. So what that means is over the past almost 6 years, we've received over $49 million worth of, again, air quotes, free advertising for Rotary through this program. And it is not, there it goes. This is just a look at one of the PSA programs that we have. This is the one that's been running the longest. This is mostly, it's changed a couple times, but I believe it's been We Are Rotary video for most of the time. And this is just kind of a look at the back end of what I see when I'm compiling the reports that I get from Plowshare, and try to turn it into a little bit easier to read report. So what this shows is, if we look at the local broadcast, that's going to be your local stations, such as, Gene, keep me honest here. So this would be the stations that are local to your market, but not your local cable markets. So this is your local television, we'll call it. In this particular campaign, it's received over $25 million worth of donated value, which is a lot, considering that we just said it was 49. And if you look at the impressions for the local broadcast by itself is at 1.8 billion, which is clearly a real lot, and a lot more people than there are in the United States. Worth noting, I don't know, another thing that's just a reminder, or if it's something that maybe some people didn't know, this is all for the United States. This is PSAs for the United States. This is not an international campaign. This is all domestic. Radio also been a great tool for us. OOH is what Gene was talking about billboards. I believe that stands for out of home, for those keeping score at home. And then national cable is, your national television. Those are it's a little bit harder to get impressions on those. So you'll notice that there isn't an impression number on that one. Magazine, again, we have a circulation number instead of an impression number. So it's not an exact science on that one either. And then local cable is, again, we have our normal impression numbers. It's a little bit easier to get those. Worth noting also, if you look at the right side of the screen, we see what our total donated media value to date is. And we can see that 67 to 1, this has been pretty great for us. We've gotten back $67 for every dollar spent. So I any return on investment like that is always a positive.
And Chuck, I think you had a question about how the PSAs are valued. Uh, this is something that happens. It's not legislated, I won't say, but the valuation of PSAs is very standard. So the agency provides, or the station provides to the agency the rate card. And the rate card is, what would it have cost an advertiser to buy that spot?
Got it.
So if someone were paying, not getting a PSA, that is getting it donated, this is what it would have cost the organization. So that's part of what we get from Plowshare, and part of the reason we work with them, because they help us with all of that accounting math, because there's a requirement that we reflect this on Rotary's books, because Rotary isn't paying $49 million for this advertising, but we're getting this value. Does that answer your question, Chuck?
Yeah, it does. What I'm trying to do is determine not only how that's defined, but also, kind of what do we get for it, but more on that later.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the tricky thing about PSAs is that we can't control which stations play them or when they play them. We can't control that, but we can influence it. And we'll talk about how we can influence it later, and because that's where we like to think you all and Rotary members around the states come in.
Thanks, Gene.
And then Donna, you had a question: is all the costs for Plowshare services? Where does the funding come from? So Rotary, like any other organization, has a budget, and we have a budget for communications. Ben and I work in the marketing team, and we have a marketing budget. Part of the biggest chunk of our marketing budget goes to producing the PSAs and all of the other assets that are on the brand center. A portion of the budget, though, goes to pay our basically our contract with Plowshare to act on our behalf to promote our PSAs. Does that answer your question, Donna?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Good.
Great. So moving on. This is just a little bit more of some of the reporting that we get from the Plowshare end, that I share with the team and try to decipher what exactly is going on here. The most important thing to take a look at here, well, maybe not the most important, the most exciting thing, I think, is if you take a look at some of those impressions. It's nearly 3 billion impressions since the PSA campaign has launched. As we said before, most of it is local broadcast, but I mean, those numbers are pretty exciting, and it's it's not always easy to do when you're purchasing ads, but when obviously you need a different kind of a budget for that. In some of the public image discussions, I've had people ask why we don't purchase ads during the Super Bowl. That's not really in the budget plans currently, but to get 2.5 billion impressions over 6 years is pretty exciting stuff. Also worth taking a look at is if you look at that pie chart that's in the second line to the bottom, that's some of the airings. That's sort of what Gene was talking about. How we don't necessarily get to choose what time we're at, but it comes based on what's available. Is it always the best time? We don't always necessarily get the favorite time, but as you can see, it's not like they're only putting us on it at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. So So we do get some pretty good slots in there as well. And then here's some examples of the magazine. As mentioned, it's a little bit harder to collect what the impressions are on those. Obviously, it being not digital, and is it a magazine at someone's house? Is it a magazine in a doctor's office? We don't really know, but we can go off the circulation and get some numbers there. As you can see, it's generally a pretty well-rounded group of magazines, so it's not always like we're getting the same people at the same time, and that's the idea that we want really from the TV and the radio as well. We're hoping to get as well-rounded as we can to obviously get our word out and let people know who we are and what we do. Gene, do you want to talk about some of these resources? You're muted.
You can hear me. If you don't mind taking your screen down, and I'll just give us a little walk through the Plowshare Download Center.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen? So I just typed in Plowshare. So this is the home screen of the Plowshare Download Center. You can see we're in pretty good company with all of those other nonprofits. Click on the Rotary logo, and this is the screen that I showed you a little bit ago. So anyone can download these, and that's our campaigns. These are the assets. This is the 60-second ad that Ben just played. He played it from the Brand Center, and our radio spots, print. So just for grins, I'm going to share one of these other, so I have to stop sharing and start sharing again, but I need to share sound. Okay, so I'm going to share one of these one of these personal perspectives. So let's look at the Linda Lowe ad. So it's going to play.
Knowledge is my superpower.
Inside here.
Hold on one second.
Than having community conversation.
Emails. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Patrick.
Yeah, start over again. It was showing your email box.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't look. I promise.
Okay, that's embarrassing. Sorry, folks.
And while she's getting that fixed, I'll tell you, Bruce Nearhood and I were in South Dakota, and we pulled up to his house, and his wife Kim was watching the football game. I think it was a playoff game, and a Rotary PSA showed up in prime time, and it looked like a Super Bowl commercial. It was awesome. So this is working. It is working.
Okay,
now we can, go for it.
Okay, that is okay. I'm going to show you Bryant's because Bryant is a member of the club I belong to.
Can you make constant elevation causes expansion. It's one of my favorite lyrics that I used to play constantly, back to back. It means elevating yourself through the knowledge and connecting with others to expand who you are today to who you want to become. To elevate myself, I graduated college, built a business, and I coach young people on and off the field. I dreamed of a global life. The more I participate in Rotary, the more I see, the more I can do. I have a network of people who share my passion and build on my ideas, but they also expand my thinking. I can help my community, but now I can help communities across the globe. It makes my local projects better, my reach wider. With Rotary, I have a global life. When you see more, then you know more is possible.
So there, that gives you a sense of, in your search bar, type in Plowshare and then follow those steps. And as I said, we will follow up with the slides and also a one-sheeter with some of the other things we wanted to share with you. So with that in mind, a couple of the other things we wanted to share are we have just a one-pager that's PSA 101, and it was designed if you're running something for either your district or maybe doing some kind of district training or even club training, and there are people who are interested in supporting the PSA program. It's a one-pager to what it's all about. It includes the links. We also have a very short letter. It's a letter that you can just plug and play with your information to reach out and link to the assets, the resources. So that's an easy thing to do. Ben, do you want to talk a little bit about the email that you send out once a month that you want new subscribers for?
Absolutely. And I'll show you an example. So I share an email kind of just with an overview of what happened in the previous month with the PSA campaign. I'm going to tell you a little secret. The email itself doesn't change a ton, but the report that's attached does. And it gives you a look into everything that's going on with PSAs. Obviously from the month prior. That's when the reporting comes out. I will share my screen real quick just to show you what it looks like. And this is some definite behind the scenes stuff. So let me make my screen a little bigger because I kind of look at it small, admittedly. So this is kind of the top view, the top line view of what this report is. We talked about all the different versions of, or I should say the different platforms, your local broadcast, local cable, national cable, radio, out of home magazine. And I break it down into the total airings, how many impressions we got on that month, the stations, the markets, but I also break it down based on what the PSA was. So here's Zero Dose. The People of Action is the We Are Rotary one that I was showing you earlier. The numbers for Personal Perspectives, that's what we just saw from Bryant. That's your testimonial videos. And then the Rotary Causes Address Community Needs. That's the example of the video that I showed at the beginning. I know that's a lot, and I apologize, but we break it down by what asset it is and then what platform ran it. In the markets, these are based on the donated value, the top 3 markets that ran that content that month. And then down here, if you look at these, the tabs down here, we can take a look at, for example, Zero Dose got a 55,616 donated value. Prescale, Maine, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Bridgeport, West Virginia were led the way at those amounts. But if you click on this right here, you see every single market that shared it for the month of January, and you'll see that for each one going through. We yellow highlight the big gain of, or not, I shouldn't say big gain because some of them show up over and over again. The big number for that month. And yes, this Harlingen, this tends to be in the top 3 consistently. So that's why I don't want to say the big gainer, because maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down, but it's always there. So anyway, the report that I share looks a little bit different than this in that it's a PDF, but it has all the exact same information on there. The email doesn't love sharing the Excel file as well, but I create a little version that you can see in PDF form. So you can check on your markets, you can check on your friends' markets, you can see what's going on in your markets. If something's going great, maybe find out why, who's running the PSAs. at those local stations. Or if you're noticing that one of your markets isn't there, that's an opportunity to maybe reach out and say, hey, my name is so and so, and we have these PSAs that are available to you for free. I'd be really interested in getting some of them on your airwaves. So it's kind of a double. You can keep an eye on what's going on. If you're interested in receiving that, just shoot me an email, benjamin.miller at rotary.org. I'll share it in the chat as well, so you don't have to write it down. But if you want to get in on that email, just email me telling me you're interested, and I will make sure you receive the next one.
And Bill, you had a question about how we capture the information. This information is captured by Nielsen, and our Plowshare, our agency, works with that report and shimmies the shams, basically puts it together for us. So these stations have to report when ads are running. In fact, part of it is the reason that the broadcasters capture or use the PSAs from the Plowshare download center, not from our brand center, is that the assets we have are called broadcast ready. And what that means is that they're embedded with some codes, and that coding is so the data can be captured and we know exactly when and where the ads run and which ads run. So each of our assets has a unique code, and then that's captured in the system. And then Todd, you asked how the marks are chosen and what basis. No, and that's the thing with PSAs. The markets where the ads are run are chosen by the agencies, the media agencies. So, for example, that Brownsville, Texas, that market, the station there has said, hey, Rotary PSAs, those are the PSAs that we want to run, and they consistently run them. And there could be a host of reasons that they run them, but the decisions about which stations run PSAs is up to the station. And so that's where we think it really can make a difference if there's local community outreach, because like anything, we know that if the organization knows you, if you're from the community and you say, hey, here's something that would make a difference to my Rotary Club if this ran, for example. So it's all about leveraging those relationships and reminding the station managers and the program managers that Rotary has the campaign, because they're getting this information from all kinds of nonprofits. And so it's kind of, we stand out when you remind them. So, so are you asking us to reach out to local stations? Yes, please. That would be absolutely amazing if you could do that. And we have some tools to help you, like the reports can help you see where someone might have run and not run in the subsequent month, or where they're not running. And also we have that template, email template, and then the Q&A or FAQ about PSAs. So yes.
And just so you know,
and if
and just so you know, not to interrupt you, sorry. Our teammate Ben Bauer today already put this. So Ben, if you want to unmute and say where it is, we are going to make sure this is super easy for everybody to find on our regional page. So Ben, I can't hear you. Sorry. Ben, are you muted? Your microphone might be muted or something. Live TV.
So I take it he just posted a picture of where it is on our website?
Yep, and we're going to have everything. Everything's going to be on there. So not only the slides with permission of Gene and Ben Miller, but also the FAQ, the link to the Ben. Interrupt me at any point if you isn't working. He put the link for the Plowshare, so you can just click that easily. And again, we want to be the region that is the example in North America. We want this to be spread all over the region. And if you go, Ben Miller, if you can share your screen real quick and go back to that map at the very beginning, because that map will show you guys there are some gaps for sure in our region that have no dots, but then there are some that are like Harlingen and Brownsville. I guarantee there is a Rotary member either that has a relay. I know those guys down there. They're awesome and they are pushing it. But we want everyone in this region to have the tools necessary and the support necessary, not only from our regional team, but from RI to go ahead and be reaching out to their local markets. And I don't mean to interrupt you, Gene and Ben, but I do have a question about radio. How are we doing with radio? Are you seeing that as something that is picking up more? I know you showed the numbers, but
am I muted? No, I'm not.
No.
TV has definitely been best for us, but radio has been the second best for sure. And I let me clean up how I just said that. Local broadcast has been the best for us. So these local stations has been the best. Radio has probably been the second best after that. So radio is actually ahead of cable. So radio's definitely been strong for us.
Awesome. There is a question from Donna. Donna, do you want to unmute real quick? Because that is an interesting question.
There's a tab on the Plowshare that says Houston TV, but when I click on it, it requires a password. I'm in Houston, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, Donna. So that was creative that we developed before the convention and ran during the convention, and it also is part of the PSA campaign in that convention time period. I don't find out why there's a password on there because you should still be able to access that. So let me find out why there's that. It's password protected. To be honest, I knew the tab was still there, but I hadn't opened it for a while, so I didn't know about the password. So we'll get back to you about that.
I do see some of the material from that time period though was interwoven into the video you just showed. So yeah. I saw our people in there. So
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Thanks.
I see the emails coming in to get signed up for the PSA email, so that's awesome. Thank you very much. I will get you in early March. I will get you the February version, and so that will be in your mailbox in a couple weeks. I did see, Chuck, you asked a question about viewership or numbers of listeners. I'm just going to share my screen 1 second. I just want to show you within the report that we share. We don't have the numbers of what it's going to be, but looking back, you can see how many airings each ran. So, for example, this is the local broadcast for Personal Perspectives. So that's the testimonial campaign. This Fox affiliate in Portland ran one of them or multiple of them 212 times. That's a real lot. And some of these just did a single time. You can see based on the number of impressions, how many each one of those garnered. So this one in Pittsburgh only ran once, but it got 57,000. This one ran over 200 and got 367. So a little math. I don't have exact numbers for each of those, and obviously I'm unable to guess what the viewership is going to be on some of these with the tools that are available to me. But by looking at some of these, you can definitely take a look and figure out what viewership on some of these stations looks like.
And Ben, since you have the screen up, can you go back to that United States map? Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah.
Because I just want everybody to see this one more time. This is since 2020.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. If you can just up whatever you call it, upsize it.
Yeah.
Full screen it. So if you see in our region, there are dots. And Ben, what are these dots? Do they?
Well, what did I do?
TV and radio. Okay. TV is black, radio is red. So take a look at that. We're getting stuff, but we could definitely use a lot more. And so we're excited about this. And I know that this is the group to do it. And if your district public image share is not, Michelle, I see you. I will get to you, I promise. Um, the If your district public image share is not on the call today, please let them know this is happening. And if you know some really dynamic club public image chairs and club presidents, especially with pet season coming up, let's spread the word because Ben, I think your mic might be working now. Okay, so Ben's going to tell you how to find this on our regional page, and then we'll go to Michelle.
So I did share a link. I can drop it in the chat so you all can have easy access to it, but it shows our a link to our public image resource library on the Zone website, and you'll see links to information that was shared tonight. This is being recorded, and when the recording's done, we'll trim it up and we'll share a recording to this webinar too. So that'd be a great thing to share with your club and district chairs as well. So lots of good resources available there, not only for the PSA topic for tonight, but lots of other stuff too.
Yeah, and we are getting our actual media part of the library tightened up and tweaked, and will be up soon. But again, everything that Gene and Ben provide us will be on that link that Ben Bauer just provided. This is a tongue twister, all the Bens today. And so please utilize it and let us know what else you need, because we've been wanting to have this conversation for a while, because public service announcements, since I worked in the news world back in the 90s, I remember how important they were. And I remember, people still even wanted the spot right before the American flag. Remember back in the day when TV turned off at midnight, which is aging me. But I remember those days. So again, it's working. I saw Rapid City on another spot, Bruce, when Ben was showing the list. So it is happening, but we want to get more support. So again, Gene and Ben, it's simple steps. You take the email template that Ben and Gene are going to provide. You write to your local news program directors, and you say, "Hey, I'm so and so. I'm Todd Smith from Central Texas. I would love to have more about the great work we're doing in your community. Here's the link from Plowshare." And they'll know what that is, right, Gene and Ben? Most networks or most local stations will know what Plowshare is. So then they'll click, and they'll be reminded to go to Rotary instead of Big Brothers. Nothing wrong with Big Brothers Big Sisters or any other organization, but they'll go check out Rotary instead of maybe the United Way this time. And that's the key here, is the more relationships we can build in allowing people in our local markets, in TV and in radio, to know what's happening. It's going to be awesome. So anything else and Ben and Gene, can you, not only anything else you want to talk about with the PSAs, but could you also share some of the great stuff happening with Discover Rotary, which is a new Instagram page that I'd love for everybody on this call to spread the word about, because it's really cool. In fact, I shared the post today about our 121st birthday. So go ahead.
Beautiful. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Before we jump into
go.
Discover Rotary, Ben, I thought people might like to see what is sent out from Plowshare to the broadcast stations. So I'll share my screen. Hopefully I won't share my email again. So this went out from Plowshare. We worked with them. Our colleague Amanda worked with them to create this. And it's basically our pitch sheet to these PSA directors. So our plan is that when we send our next PSA update, we'll also include this pitch sheet in there. So you have background about, well, what have the media directors heard? Well, this is what they've heard, and Plowshare sent it out. So Ben, I'll let you talk about Discover Rotary. Do you want me to pull it up while you're talking?
Oh, sorry, Michelle,
no,
you had a question real quick.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I totally forgot Michelle had a question about 10 minutes ago. Michelle, sorry.
Man, Patrick.
Sorry, I'm usually on top of it.
So our CEO of our local television station's actually on my committee, and so we have a pretty good buy-in. A couple years ago, we were actually going to start doing these PSAs, and then we kind of lost track of them, but we were going to create a call to action on the very end of the PSA. There aren't any local call to act. We don't have a call to action on the end, and I'm just curious, a couple other people have asked, are you receiving new members? Have you been noticing new member uptick in the areas where these PSAs are showing? And is there any way, or would you recommend that a local station can just add that very end clip giving that call to action with even a phone number? What do you think about that?
Well, let's see. I'm not on mute. Definitely, local clubs could create PSAs. These PSAs have been formatted so they fit exactly in those time slots, and they're coded and they have a unique code. If a different end slate with a different call to action was created, that would be a different piece of creative. So that's the kind of thing that for sure can happen, but we'd probably want to talk with you offline about all the steps associated with making that happen. It's not rocket science, but there are a couple of steps and there are a couple of costs associated with that. So
yeah, and I don't want to mess up the code. Otherwise, we're not finding out if they're even playing in our.
Yeah.
So that's where I was curious if it would be more harm than good, or
yeah. So
too.
these assets or pieces of creative are unique, and they have a code associated. I'm getting kind of in the weeds, but they have a code associated with them. Any changes based on sort of how the FCC works makes them a different asset. So for sure, we could go down that path and work with you on that, but it would be outside this program. And so
it may not be worth it.
Yeah, so but we'd be delighted to have a conversation if you'd like to have a conversation or talk offline about it.
Thanks for the question. It's an important question because I know local, especially in rural America, they have such relationships with, like, I was on a radio show in Nebraska with Deb McClaskland, and literally they knew each other for years, and they have Rotary Week on the radio. So that might be a confusing, do we go plowshare route or allow? So that's a good conversation to have. If you have that specific challenge, you could reach out to Gina and Ben, and they could walk through with you and see if it's worth it. So thank you for that.
And just to continue on, you had mentioned that question about the connection between where have the PSAs run and membership. We haven't done that math exactly, in that you can see from Ben's report, we have the details down to a local market, and the data that we have from for Rotary is we have it at the club level, we have it at the district level. It gets a little tricky when we start to try to align in the TV space. They talk about DMAs, and when we try to align DMAs with our Rotary clubs and our Rotary data. So we're starting to do a little of that work, but we don't really have an apples to apples comparison. So we can sort of see directionally. PSAs, because these are big, broad corporate messages. They're meant to support membership development, but they're not going to drive. It's unlikely that someone would see a PSA and say, I want to join Rotary. But if someone sees a PSA, they may be intrigued. So when they meet someone at an event or a fundraiser, or someone, or see something online, they might, oh yeah, I saw that PSA, and that begins to connect the dots for them.
Yeah, so it's a tool that's on top of another tool. So if we're using our public images, everything, this is a message we're pushing in the region, which we've talked about, and making sure, you're inspired at events, you have your hashtags, and you have your club master branded, everything looks great. And then someone had a great experience at the service project or walked past a really cool Bloody Mary Fest, which is happening in Omaha soon. And then they go home and they see the commercial, then it's going to be that what we used to call Like back when I was in marketing back in the 90s, it only took 4 or 6 times for someone to go, oh, that's Judge Judy, or oh, that's NBC News. Now it takes, I don't know, do you have the latest number? I think it's like 60 or 80 impressions now, I would say, before someone goes, oh, that's Coca or that's whatever the brand is. So this is just an extra tool that I think really, I know it excites us as Rotarians, but I think that people that are going to see these commercials and actually listen to them on the radio, I think it's going to help our messaging for sure. So
And
go ahead.
just Bruce, you had asked the question about, do we have something at the end? The call to action at the end of all of the PSAs is to visit rotary.org. And I'll share that.
Then Bill had a question as well, Bill Bruce.
If you go to .org and then about Rotary, on the Who We Are page, you see our personal perspectives the Power of Rotary campaign. So there isn't a PSA landing page, but the landing page is .org, and on this about Rotary, we have these.
That's great. Thank you. And Bill, would you like to ask your question?
Generally speaking, when I was in Calgary, there was a study that was presented by somebody from RI that said there was only about a 50% awareness of Rotary in the United States, only about a 25% understanding of Rotary. Do you feel generally these are targeted more toward the awareness side than the understanding side?
Yeah, absolutely. It's to drive awareness and to move the needle there so that people are open to engaging. And I think it's probably fair to say that they also move into the understanding, because we're showing people talk about the value of Rotary. We're showing the areas of focus. So that really, I like to think, gets at the depth and breadth of Rotary. And we're showing those people of action videos that shows how we Rotary collectively address our world's most persistent problems, one community at a time. So taken together, their awareness for sure, and then trying to push that needle on understanding as well.
And then, Ben, will your report have a listing of all of the TV and radio stations in our district or our state or something?
That's a good question. So my report actually only registers who ran. So the answer is unfortunately no, it won't have every single one. That's a really good question. Gene, what's the best way for them to go about? Do you have any idea the best way to go about finding out what's available for them for outreach in their market? Because mine literally, if as soon as the ad runs once, it gets added to my list. If it's zero, it unfortunately doesn't.
Yeah, so the database of local radio stations that I mentioned that our partner Plowshare has, this is something that they've developed over the years. And so they've developed this kind of proprietary database. And so that's a long-winded way of answering a simple question. Do we have the contact information at these radio stations or television stations? We don't, but the where the broadcasters are, that information's in the public domain. So for example, I just did a super quick search of radio stations near me, and I get I live in Evanston, and so I can see all of the radio stations near me, and I can determine that maybe I want to go for one that's more of a variety and less one that's focused on a particular religion, for example. And then then that's the one I would start with. And then I would ask the members of my club, does anyone know anyone who works at the station, or does anyone have a connection with the station? So that's what I would go, how I go about it.
I understand in the nicest way possible, we need to put together our own list.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you an example, actually, Bill. Pam, can you pull up our district website? This is from our District 5870 website. This is something Pam and Amber and I worked on for years, and it's our Media Black Book. And this is something district public image chairs, and we encourage this, by the way, in our trainings, to have this Media Black Book. And what our goal is for Bill and for everybody, our ultimate goal is to be able to accumulate this onto the Zone website to where someone can click it as well. But we really want this to be more district centric and local club centric. So Pam, as you're looking that up, just to show an example of what it literally just takes not only a little bit of research for someone to do, but also we always put a call to action. And I think Todd, you even put that out when you were going around to your club visits. If there's some media that someone doesn't know, because we might not know back when we were building this, we didn't know that there might be a radio station in Waco that isn't, known to the Google. So here's a list of all the newspaper bureaus, television, and radio in our district. So it makes it easy for a club or a club president or a club, fundraising chair to be able to go in and get the contact information to get media coverage. But you can do the exact same thing for this PSA, except when you make the phone call, you ask to be connected to the person that's in charge of public service announcements or get their email. So just wanted to show that example. And it's great questions, by the way. Thank you for that. We're running out of time, and I want to honor everyone's time. So we have about 1 minute left. This has been awesome. Ben, please share about Discover Rotary.
I'll go as quick as I can. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. So we have a new channel that we're sharing with mostly folks like you, to be honest. What it is it's called Discover Rotary. It lives on Facebook and Instagram. The Facebook page is definitely a little larger and a little more useful just based on the nature of being able to share links a little easier than Instagram. And what this is we still want you to follow the regular RI social media, that big one that our friends over on the social media team run. This is a little different though. This is made specifically for members, and it is our way of the folks at Rotary International being able to share tools with the members that'll help them tell their story and share some of the good work that you guys are doing to your audiences on social media and beyond. So you'll get things on the brand center from here. The learning center team shares things. Each business unit shares information here. So this is a great place, as we like to say, to learn about the business of Rotary, some of the things that'll help you guys tell your story, get the most out of your membership. And I highly recommend taking a look at it, following it. See, as you can see, there's a lot of different things going on here. The Giving Tuesday, obviously this looks like it's from IA. Here you have what's the latest on the Learning Center. So there's a lot going on, and I highly recommend getting involved.
And these are great share content opportunities for district public image chairs or anyone in charge of district social media, because it's an internal thing.
Exactly.
So you could share it to your districts once or twice a week, pull something out of here just so you don't have to keep recreating the wheel, no pun intended. So thank you. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, Gene, for all the hard work that you do. Please give a round of applause to them and their entire team. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you guys do. We wouldn't be able to make the impacts we make in the world without you. So thank you, thank you. And Jean is going to be a club president this next year. So she's a club president-elect, and I will see her, Ben and I will see her at Midwest Pets, which we're excited to do. Ben Bauer and I will see her at Midwest Pets. And before we go, I just want to congratulate our newest member of our region public image team, Heidi Drager. She just joined. She is now an assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator and also the District Public Image Chair for District 6000. So we're real excited to have you join us, and exciting things ahead. So thank you guys so much. for everything. We're going to stop recording now. And